Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be considering if we're going to be complying with the new pistol brace ban. Okay, and I want you guys to sound off in the comments and let me know what you're going to do. Now, I also want to put a separate question out there that's along the same lines. If you had lived in Nazi Germany, in the 1930s, would you have complied, right? Would you have followed the law? Because remember, the Nazi Party was in power. They were the legal government. They passed laws, right? So would you have followed those laws? Now, keep in mind that if you lived in Nazi Germany in the 1930s, there's probably a 90% chance that you would have complied because 90% of the country complied, right? They all went along with this. Very important to realize that those were normal people, right? They weren't any different than us, okay? It's just that, they were following authority, right? That's the normal thing for the majority of the people to do, right? So you would have had to be a special character to actively resist, against, against what 90% of the population was doing. Okay, so the question asked, when the men in uniform knocked on your door and they said, "Give us the Jews, give us the gypsies, give us the gay people," right? Would you have handed them over? Would you have told them in which houses they are? Right now, very important here. When they knocked on your door and asked you for those people, they would not have said, "Hey, give us these people because we're planning to execute entire families." No, that's not what they would have done. Okay, they would have said, they would have knocked on your door and they would have said that these people are criminals. They're dangerous people. They need to be arrested and taken off the streets. Okay, and the normal people, of course, would have said, "Oh my God, criminals? Yeah, absolutely. They're right over there in that house." You would have had to go out of your way, do your own research, right, to figure out that, hey, that person over there and that person over there, these people aren't criminals. They're like normal working people, and all these other people that they've been putting on these, on these cattle trains, and they're disappearing and they're never coming back. Why is that happening? Where are they going? Why are we never seeing them again? Okay, so you would have been part of a very small minority, right, to ask those kind of questions, and to break the law, right, to resist, to not hand over those people. So, you know, don't assume, because most people walking around today, especially in this country, in the United States, right, they think that if they lived in Nazi Germany, they would have basically pushed back against the government, which is the opposite, right? I believe that the vast majority of the people in this country would have complied, and the proof. I've seen proof over many decades, but absolute proof I saw back in 2020 with all the people walking around with their faces covered. Okay, now within that group, right? Fine, there were some people that thought that this was legitimate. They should have done that. That it somehow protected them, but a lot of people said that the only reason why they were doing it is because basically they had to do it for their job. Okay, that was a very common thing that I heard. They were just doing it for their job. And if you go back to Germany in the 1930s, same excuse, right? A lot of people were joining the Nazi Party because it was a path to career advancement. Okay, you could not advance professionally unless you were a member of the Nazi Party. So this is the same thing I saw back in 2020 with people walking around with their faces covered, saying that they didn't believe in it, but they were doing it just because their job required it, or the other people taking the jab, right? Right? Doing it just because their job required it, knowing that it's wrong. Okay? Again, if you were in Germany in the 1930s, if you ever wondered what you would have done back then, now you know. Okay, and here's the thing: I'm not faulting you because you are part. If you're one of those people, you're part of the majority, right? 90% chance you would have done that. In fact, I'm not going to say what I think I would have done, but there's a good possibility that I might have been part of that 90%. I mean, I don't know, but now I mean, I have been resisting here and now, right? So I think that's kind of in my favor, right? Since I've been actively resisting since 2020, but still, I mean, I don't, if you were back, because here's the thing, at least in 2020, you did have some alternatives, right? I mean, one party didn't have absolute complete control. If you were in Germany in the 1930s, you had one party that had absolute complete control, and they could pretty much get you killed, right? They could pretty much disappear you. So I think that the vast majority of Americans today, if you take them back to the 1930s Germany, probably, if 90% of Germans complied back then, I would say if you took Americans I would say that probably 99% of Americans would probably have complied with the Nazi regime, okay, based on, what I saw in 2020 with such little pressure and how easily people complied. So, this is like a personal thing. Just think about it. I think it's, it's a, interesting self-assessment thing to do. So anyway, in the comments below, do you plan to comply with the pistol brace ban? Let me know, and we'll talk again soon. And also pass this video around, share it. Let people make the same, make the same consideration, right? If you were in 1930s Germany, would you have complied? If no, prove it, right? Prove it. Show me the modern example. What did you do back in 2020, right? Because it doesn't make sense to me that people that were complying in 2020 would all of a sudden not have complied in 1930. So talk to you all soon.